What's up, YouTube? Welcome back. So I want to talk about this, Prince family that's on YouTube and their whole colorism drama involving their newborn child. And this has sort of become a little more popular than I thought it was going to be. This whole story, because I've seen this story kind of popping up on YouTube channels here and there, but I think this story has become really popular, at least within like a certain sector of YouTube anyway. So yeah, I saw that. People playing the clips of um, the father and the mother. You know, I think the father is named Damien, and he's, of course, he is dark skinned, and the mother is named Bianca, and she is biracial, light skinned, biracial. And they were in the delivery room, and they had, I guess just started, Bianca just delivered the daughter, and then they were talking about the features. Did they even talk about the health of the kid? Yeah, I'm not sure. Maybe they did, but it just didn't make the video, or maybe if they didn't, I don't know. But I wouldn't be surprised if they didn't. Um, it seemed very superficial about like what they were concerned about. Like, oh, look at the nails. Oh, the nails are dark. Oh, look at the ears. It's pretty much trying to just talk about like skin tone and eye color, right? Because Bianca thinks that pretty eyes are just green eyes, or at least eyes that are not brown, right? And, me personally, I will say that I have seen eyes that I think are pretty and beautiful. Like for me, I think that the J-pop singer Ayumi Hamasaki actually has really beautiful eyes. And her eyes are brown. They're not colored. And I've mentioned that before, not whenever, but on occasions when I've talked about Ayumi Hamasaki. Um, but this whole situation to me is just like, it's, I kind of think, I thought they would at least have a little bit more tact about it, especially considering that, this is going to be on their YouTube channel. A lot of people are going to see this. They do have a big YouTube following from what I remember. I think they do. Yeah, they have a big YouTube following. It's like 3.6 million subscribers. And it seemed, but this is probably the better of their colorism. Honestly, as far as like, oh, being more like polite, because I saw a video where like Damien had said something like to the effect of, oh, shut up, you burnt black bitches, or something like that. Something like that. There's receipts. It's in the video. Go look it up. All right. But yeah, of course, we see this. Is this a surprise to an extent? Honestly, at this point, I'm kind of just giving the side eye to every single relationship that involves a brown skin or dark skinned man and a light skinned mixed biracial woman. I'm really at this point just giving the side eye in every single relationship and every single person involved in those relationships. And I'm like, okay, we already know what you want. All right. And I know somebody gonna be like, well, that's not fair. Well, yeah, it's not fair. But, go take up that argument with the people who are making you look bad as well. Don't just come bring that shit to me. All right. So, oh yeah, and then in the waiting room, or I think the delivery room. In the delivery room, I saw this comment. It was like, it was fucked up, but it was so true though. It was like, y'all remember Damien and he asking his mother-in-law, who's white, like, what does she think of the kid? And someone had equated that to like, oh, you know, he asking Massa, like a slave asking Massa, oh, what do you think of my child? You know, trying to get their approval, right? Like a slave. I'm like, it kind of does sort of is reminiscent of that, something like that, you know. But Bianca said that she ain't colorist because, you know, she is married to a dark-skinned man. And honestly, I think that actually makes you, for me, because I know how to spot the bullshit, for me, that is like the red flag right there. That's because that's like the typical partner in crime when it comes to this colorism bullshit. That's typically the two folks who are perpetuating all the bullshit. It's always a dark-skinned nigga up in the mix when it's colorism. And as well, a lot of times it's always a light-skinned mixed bitch up in the mix too. What's up with that? It's not, let's not act like this is just, oh, it's a coincidence. Oh, it's an isolated incident. No, it's not. It's a pattern. It's been playing out for a long time. And probably you're partially with him because he's the only one that'll hype you up and gas you up. You know, the dark skinned, brown skinned dudes, that's what they do. You know, that's the only dudes who will do that for them. So for them, that's, you know, the best deal for them. You know, not to say that a light skinned mixed chick, you know, can't get, you know, validation and recognition and compliments and, you know, big up from other groups of men because they can. But when you're a certain, you got to actually come with more than just light skin and perhaps an exotic eye color and perhaps, you know, a loosely textured hair. It's more than that, you know, for other groups of men. You know, it's not that they won't uplift women, but the criteria and standards are higher. You can't just be light skinned and think that's all it takes, right? But you know, she can, you know, that's partially why she's with them because that's the only upliftment she could probably get, you know. And you know, hey, go where you're celebrated, right? you know, you know. But you know, some people were triggered that Bianca wanted her daughter to have green eyes because Bianca has green eyes. And also Bianca, at least she was honest with it though. I will say that, you know, at least she was honest. She says that, you know, the green eyes gets more compliments than the brown eyes, you know. And she wants her daughter to have those green eyes because she wants her daughter to get those compliments, right? And, you know, she's honest about it. And, you know, she is, and then I think at one point in the video or something, she was like, oh, she ain't gonna be as dark as you. Or like, oh, you know, I wouldn't want her to look like you. You know, which is a pretty loaded statement because it could be like, oh, well, people could feel like, oh, it's because of his features. And, you know, and of course, you know how the brown skinned black men are. They're going to just completely ignore this situation in this conversation. They're going to skip out on it. You're probably not even going to see them really trolling as much. Maybe, but then again, I don't even think the trolls are going to be in that much of a, you know, they're not going to be in full effect. I'll say that. You'll probably see some trolling here and there, but, you know, they're probably going to just take a rain check on this shit and not even acknowledge it. When this type of shit happens, they tend not to acknowledge it because they feel like they can't really defend it, right? If there was a defense to it, then they would be coming through, trolling, this, that, and the motherfucking third. Okay. But best and believe, though, Bianca and Damien are going to make sure that their daughter is put in black female spaces. Make sure, all right? Check, you know, they're going to be trying to put her in some type of like, oh, look at Essence's black babies of, you know, 20 19 or whatever. You know, some type of space there. You know, black girls rock. You know, they gonna make sure to push her into black female spaces so that she can receive some upliftment and so that they can feel, you know, in a roundabout way uplifted too, right? And that's another thing. Like these brown skinned and dark skinned men and these brown skinned and dark skinned women be hyping up, you know, the women like Bianca, these light skinned mixed chicks. The brown skinned, dark skinned women want to be these light skinned mixed biracial chicks, no matter if they look, you know, absolutely breathtaking or if they look basic as a box of donuts, stale donuts from the gas station. But yeah, they want to be them. They want to follow them on YouTube, big up them, hype them up, talk about how pretty their hair is. Again, these are the females, dark skin, brown skin females who want to engage in this shit. Then, of course, the brown skin, dark skin dudes want to get with them, right? And they be hyping them up too. And then you got some light skin, mixed biracial niggas off to the side, looking like, you know, what's the hype about? You know, honestly, that's how it be. It's like, really? Um, then folks was mad because they felt like Bianca and Damien were being colorists, and they are colorists as far as based on the receipts I've been seeing. Yeah, they colorists. All right. What's your move? Are you going to support them? Are you going to continue to support them? All right. And, you know, black women were coming for Bianca. I think it was like a whole like segment of Damien and another YouTuber doing like a kind of like a smash or pass video. And then Bianca says something like, oh, I didn't know Damien liked black women. You know, and, you know, crazy because Bianca said that she was a black woman and she considers herself black. But when Damien showed that he liked a brown skinned, dark skinned black woman, it's like, oh, and she's a bit surprised by that, you know, or at least he would smash, you know. They ain't mentioned nothing about, you know, Mary going the mile, running, you know, riding off into the sunset, mind you, but, you know. But, you know, that's just a little hint, hint, nudge, nudge. You know, Bianca, she kind of, in some situations, she does not see herself as a black woman. And some she does. Some people may feel that she's kind of like maybe playing the fence, jumping in and out of blackness when convenient. And, you know, that is definitely a valid argument. You know, she may just think that she's just a special kind of black. You know, like, you know, a special kind of mustard shit. Like, she ain't that regular yellow mustard. She that Grey Poupon mustard shit, you know. That honey Dijon mustard. She ain't that regular ass mustard that you get for 79 cents at Walmart. Nah, that great value mustard. Right? You know, and also I just felt like, kind of feel like myself at least, like I have discussed this situation many times before, you know, on my channel in one form or another. This whole like, oh, light-skinned babies, dark-skinned babies, which one should we have? Like that whole like situation. I feel like I've discussed this before. You know, women like Bianca, these light-skinned mixed biracial chicks, you know, they'll get with the guys like Damien, the brown-skinned, dark-skinned men, and, you know, just hope and pray that the kid doesn't come out with their features, especially their daughters. With their sons, they might be like, you know, with the daughters, especially because they're colorists themselves. You know, that's the thing. They're colorists themselves, so they have, you know, brought in and drunk the Kool-Aid and, you know, been indoctrinated with the colorism brainwashing too. So, you know, she doesn't, and probably she may have something against brown skin and dark skin women. It's a possibility, you know. And now you may have one to raise, a dark skinned girl to raise anyway. into a dark-skinned woman. So yeah, and then people were like, oh, um, preferences or nah, when it comes to kids. And I've put that out there too, you know. Is it merely a preference or is there more to it? And then some folks are like, well, we have a right to preferences, which I do ultimately agree with. I think that we all do have a right to preferences. I think we should probably just be a bit more honest and um, self-analytical about our preferences and like just analyze our preferences a bit more, see and kind of like see where they come from and be honest about your preferences, and where they come from. Um, but then some people were mad because she wanted, basically she just wanted a light-skinned baby with good hair, quote unquote, for you sensitive niggas out there, quote unquote, good hair and light eyes, right? But look at the nigga she with now. Like, you really think this nigga gonna give you that? But that's the thing. That's when they drunk off. They high. They drunk. They just brainwashed with colorism because they ain't. The common sense goes out the window. It don't make no sense. And there's always these light skinned mixed biracial women doing this shit. Notice that. That shit's never called out either because they can do no wrong. They can do no wrong. All right. Um, you know, it's just it's always something else to be blamed when it's them, or either they just don't address the situation at all, unless the light-skinned mixed biracial woman comes out and says she doesn't like brown-skinned, dark-skinned black men or just black men in general. Then that's when they pipe up and got a whole lot of shit to say. All right. And then preferences when it comes to kids. Let me get back to that. All right, so kids, light skin, dark skin. We always hear about these dark skin, brown skin folks, especially women, talking about they want a chocolate baby, right? And I'm like, well, okay, if she wants a chocolate baby, and she a chocolate goddess or a chocolate beauty, is it wrong for Bianca to want a light skin mix good hair baby if she a light skin mix good hair baby, quote unquote? All right. Um, so I do find a bit of hypocrisy in that. Um, and as well, I've mentioned before how the dark skin, brown skin females, and possibly even some males too, like to criticize the light skin mixed biracial children. That does happen too. Um, you know. And by the way, again, I put it out there. I want to put it out there. What the hell is a chocolate baby? Can someone please define that for me? Because I haven't received a definition yet. And also, isn't chocolate used as a kind of like a sensual sexualization, perhaps even a fetishizational term? So why would we be applying that to children? All right, that's the thing. That's something to think about too. How, low key, some sexualization with these children, right? When they call them chocolate, right? Um, you know, and a lot of times these, light skinned mixed biracial women, sometimes, and these brown skinned, dark skinned women, they want, quote unquote chocolate children, right? Because they sexualizing their children, at least the sons, right? Because they want them to grow up so they'll be able to fuck them, right? Because I saw in this forum, I think it may have been on like Lipstick Alley or something. I was like searching around the internet and ran into that shit, right? And on that bullshit, it was like Tyson Beckford and his son, and the women were complaining that he didn't have his son with pretty much a woman who is reflective of him, so that he could like basically have a son with the same features as him, so that they can fetishize and go gaga goo goo over and want to fuck, right? And kind of like this, possibly even like with 50 Cent, they had came after 50 Cent for having like a light skinned son, even though he has like a brown skinned son like him too. Because he was showing a whole bunch of pictures of him and his son on social media. And then 50 Cent had said something to the effect of, well, first it was like the women had said like, oh, where's your other son at? And then he was like, why? You want to give him some pussy? And honestly, I think that probably is a factor. That shit kind of goes on too, where it's like some sexual predator type shit with, or some sexual fetishization when it comes to that sort of a thing, which I think is pretty much ignored. But we know that the black community does give cover to sexual predators, you know, you know. And as well, like if a person says they want a child with like 4C hair, and if a person says they want a child with, you know, loosely textured hair, is that a crime? You know, both of them are preferences. Both of them, you know, are things that people want, apparently, right? So again, I just find this to be a bit like this situation when it comes to the kids and features. I just find this to be a bit like hypocritical, and it kind of just irks me because I'm like, well, we have these same preferences for adults. So at this point, I think the kids are just being ushered into what they're going to be dealing with as adults. Preferences based on skin tone, preferences based on racial features, right? And I do think that people are, you know, very black people specifically are very obsessed with these type of things, right? But you know, the obsession is okay when you know you feel like it's your features that are being obsessed over, right? But when it's not your features being obsessed over, then it's an issue, seemingly, right? You know, that's partially why they get mad because, you know, Damien's teenage mutant ninja turtle looking ass, he's not expressing that he wants you, right? And dudes like him, right? But you're expressing that you want Damien, and dudes like Damien though, right? And you know, dudes like Damien, they want some proximity to non-blackness in some way, shape, or form, and they're using the women that they're with, you know, their wives, girlfriends, baby mamas, whatever the fuck. They're using them to gain some proximity to non-blackness, you know, some, you know, whatever, some proximity to something that's not black. All right. Just how the brown skin, dark skin sisters use beauty to have some proximity to non-blackness, right? Through like lipstick, makeup, contouring, wigs, weave, changing the color hair, perhaps even using eye contacts that are a different color than their regular eyes. Um, and not to say that other groups of women don't participate in that, right? And some, I know because some people are going to say, well, the light skin mixed and biracial women are doing it. You know, Bianca's doing it, which, you know, she is, at least with the wig. I heard she wears like wigs or weave or whatever. Um, but yeah, I'm just saying like that is a form of trying to have some proximity to non-blackness, right? Just as these dudes are using their form of, you know, going about it in their way, right? They're using women to get to some adjacency to non-blackness, just as the women are using beauty products to get to some adjacency of non-blackness, right? You know. And as well, when these light-skinned mixed biracial women are complaining about their children not being dark, right? And then these the brown skin, dark skin women complaining about their children not being dark enough as well, right? It's like, well, okay, so is it yay or nay, right? Are skin tone preferences for children good or nah, right? Because you'll see that too, like, oh, I wanted my child to be darker. I'm like, well, you should probably just be thankful you have a child that's healthy to begin with, you dumb fuck. And you dumb motherfuckers just want to do some bullshit. You just want to perpetuate some bullshit, don't you? It's just like, what made you even say some dumb shit like that? What made you even express some dumb shit like that out of your mouth? That should have been just something you should have just kept to yourself. You didn't have to say that, all right? Just as, like, if someone was saying, oh, I wish my child came out lighter, we'll be saying the same damn shit. Like, what the fuck does that have to do with anything? You should just be thankful for the child that God blessed you with, not worrying about these superficial things like, oh, is the child dark, dark enough or light enough, right? You know? And notice this is the women, the light-skinned mixed biracial women and the dark-skinned, brown-skinned women perpetuating this colorism bullshit when it comes to the kids, right? Don't just put it off just on those dark-skinned, brown-skinned brothers. Y'all doing it too, all right? And then wonder why we got all this fucked up bullshit going on in the community. But, y'all ain't ready for that. Y'all just want to, have some fun, la la and play bullshit. Play and pretend that everything's all good in the hood. But no, all right? I think we just need to be a bit more honest about things, right? But I know that isn't going to happen because the colorism thrives covertly, not overtly. Oh yeah, also, this is a bit off subject. I mentioned this earlier, but they have 3.6 million subscribers. How the hell did they get to 3.6 million subscribers? Who's supporting these Negroes? These colorist Negroes? Come on. Probably black women, probably a lot, probably make up a good portion of that at least. Black women, probably a big chunk of that. The majority of that even probably is brown skin, dark skin, black women, right? But I'm not familiar with their platform, so they could have some like crossover appeal, perhaps. I don't really see that, but perhaps maybe they do. Perhaps a lot of different groups of people are checking for them like that. But yeah, I just found that to be a little bit interesting too. I didn't think about it at the time, but yeah, like 3.6 million subscribers. Um, you know, I think I've said all I have to say about this subject. But yeah, this black hypocrisy though, right? Like Spice said, this black hypocrisy when it comes to colorism though. Because it's like, oh, skin tone preferences and racial preferences are bad, if it ain't them being preferred, right? Then it's all good in the hood. Then it's like, oh, like, oh, it's not really a problem then, right? So nevertheless, there's definitely some biases that are going on here. Some hidden biases, unconscious biases, blatant biases are bias even. And it's just like we are going to be stagnant in this system of colorism and white supremacy until further notice. All right? Because we have fuck niggas and fuck bitches on our team. All right? We got motherfuckers who want to have beauty contests for kids and sexualize their kids and talk about their light skin, good hair, and their chocolate skin bullshit. And then when they become adults, wonder why they all so screwed up and fucked up and perpetuating colorism and can't do shit for nobody, can't live up to nothing, can't do nothing, ain't shit. Because we have these adults in the black community who have pedophilic sexual desires for children, right? So I've gone on for long enough. You know, I didn't mean to take up this much of your time, but if you have watched this to the end, I thank you very much. And, you know, please leave a comment and tell me what you think. I'm really interested in, you know, your thoughts and opinions about this subject. So thanks for watching. Until the next video, adios and goodbye for now.